Angela Fazio is an industry powerhouse who has overseen 40,000 homes sold and $9 billion in production. And Kristen Cantrell is one of the nation's most accomplished team leaders, helping thousands of agents build their businesses. They are passionate about educating, encouraging, and empowering moms in real estate. Our next episode starts now.
Hey guys, welcome to Moms in Real Estate. I'm Kristen Cantrell.
And I'm Angela Fazio, and today's guest is a wonderful last name, Kailee Tedesco. That's Italian, right?
Yes.
And we're really excited that you're here today.
Yeah, I can't wait to get started with you. And you guys, our topic today, we were kind of cracking up about it because it's all about leveraging your kids.
Which is great.
I know. So why don't you get us started? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. You guys are amazing. So I'm so stoked you invited me on. So I'm obviously a real estate agent, mom. I've been doing real estate full time, like a little over 3 years. I live in Southern California, in Long Beach, California. And I kind of handle the LA, Orange County markets for real estate.
That's actually, so I used to live in Huntington. And when I think of Huntington to LA, that's far apart.
Yeah, well, this is the thing is like, I have so many friends that are in like the South Bay, and then I have so many friends that are in like South Orange County, like San Juan Capistrano. So like I can't just say Orange County or LA County because I really do both. And I'm in Long Beach. So I'm like smack in the middle of everything.
Yeah, you are.
It's 20 minutes everywhere. So it's kind of a beautiful like drive everywhere. Like it's not hard, but I can't really like just like focus on one because I'm like right in the middle.
Well, plus you're getting so much business from both. So why would you?
Why would you?
Yeah, I know. So anyway.
So did you get your real estate license before or after you had your oldest baby?
So right before, and I didn't know I was pregnant, and I was like, I want to get my real estate license because I just wanted to get into investing, and I didn't have a desire to like do it full time. And then it turned into a full-time job with like COVID and stuff, which was like the biggest blessing. And I wish I would have done it 10 years ago.
Yes, I love that. And then you guys, she has a 6-month-old baby as well. So she's literally building her business with babies on her hips.
Right. So there's so much to listen to in this episode because we talk to moms all the time. They're like, it's impossible to do a career and have these little babies around. No, it's not. We're about to blow your mind. And the other thing is,
about to blow your mind.
And then the other thing is I just absolutely love this topic of leveraging your kids. At first, like when you first hear that, you're like, what? That sounds terrible, but it's wonderful, isn't it?
Yes. No,
Why don't we talk about that?
Yeah. Once I kind of figured that piece out, because you feel like, how am I going to work and have kids and do all the things? And like, in real estate, you want to be flexible with your time. You want to be there for all the fun moments with your kids. And then once I realized that I can actually leverage those moments with my kids to help my business, I was like, oh, this is like the greatest job ever.
It's like a light bulb moment for sure.
It really was. And it all started with like a mom group I joined. And I remember like, I just did it because I felt really isolated, like being pregnant, and not all of my immediate friends were having kids. And I was just like, I need mom friends. And I joined this mom group. And then like organically, you start getting like business from your mom groups. And then I kind of, when I was looking back on like how much business I got from this one mom group I joined, I was like, oh, I need to join like all the mom groups.
Like I'm in 7 mom groups.
Yeah. And so once I realized that, I started to be much more intention driven with like who I was hanging out with and like, what am I doing? And like all these things. And I'm like, I can do all these things with my kids. I don't have to, I can go to the mom groups. I can go to the play groups. I can, do T-ball with my son and it not be taking away from my business. It can be adding to it because at the end of the day, my business personally is very relationship driven. It's all relationship driven. So the more relationships I make, the more I've learned to like lean into that and not allow it to be a distraction from work, but like adding to it.
And I love this because you think, we talk a lot about mom guilt. And so all of us have mom guilt, but we also have business guilt. And so sometimes when you're doing these like play dates or you're going to do these things that you're like, I'm doing this because like I'm a mom and I should be doing this and this is fulfilling, but I feel this guilt because I should also be prospecting. When you have that mindset shift, you're like, this actually can be for both. And then it's like, you don't have that guilt on either side, which is so fantastic.
I feel like right this second, there are all of these people who are listening to this going, oh my gosh, like the light bulb. Because we talk a lot about we're in real estate and it's awesome because it's flexible, because you can have time to be at your kids' things and you can have time for work and you can have time for your kids. Well, that's got to blow somebody's mind. Wait a minute. It could be all of it all the time.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I love that. Tell us more about what you do intentionally to leverage your kids.
So I'm very strategic. I'm like, okay, for instance, I just started, there's this, you might've heard of it because they're kind of all over the country now. It's called the Mom Walk Collective. And they literally are a group of moms that they get together and they just go on walks twice a month. And it's like a whole, like almost franchise, but not franchise because it's free. And you can start one in your area. I'm like, this is genius. So I started one and I just started it in my area, but it's a way for me to like be a mom, and like moms want connection and community. Cause I love doing that in general, like outside of real estate. I love to do things like that. And so that's just a great way for me to meet people. And so it can just organically also be leveraged in my business. So I'm just like always doing things like that. I'm always going to coffees. I'm always going to lunches. Like I'm the, the team parent for my son's t-ball team, like any way that I can be meeting people and just like building relationships, because that's where most of my business comes from. I do it. And I love it. So, and then it allows me to like write everything off.
Okay. So we talked about this. So the way that we're connected is through our accountant, and we talk about Barb all the time because she's fantastic. And when we talked about leveraging your kids, I'm like, well, of course you have to leverage your kids because Barb's your tax strategist and you have to pay your kids, them. Which means you have to leverage them.
100%. No, I remember like starting work when I started working with her, and she's like, okay, the Crew's my son. She's going to be your employee. I was like, how does this work? But it's great. I highly recommend anyone that's listening, if you're not working with Barb, you should call Barb because she's
that's right. And you can meet her at Flourish.
Yes.
Right? Is she coming again?
She is.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
So tell us, like, 3 years, you're still a baby agent. So tell us some of your like obstacles, like kind of what's your journey been like as far as like the challenges along the way?
It's God, I feel like when you first start with real estate, I worked in sales before, but I was an employee. So then I had to like leave the employee mindset and then move into like business mindset. Like I'm running my own business, and then being comfortable investing in your own business and like spending money to make money. And then it's like the balance of like work and family and your phone. You have to be on your phone. Like you have to be available to like pick up the phone or whatever, negotiate. And it's like finding that balance, which doesn't really exist, but like, you always going to have the mom guilt, but then you have the guilt that you're not, doing what you need to do for work or whatever. And so like finding the balance, whatever that is, and every day is going to be a different balance. And some days are going to be work focused and some days are going to be baby, family focused. And it's, and you're growing and you're like, okay, I did great last year, but how do I do even better this year? And it's hard because I think the one thing about real estate is it can feel very lonely. And there's all these real estate agents, yet you don't have a whole lot of collaboration. And so finding that and finding like that sense of community or that sense of like, I don't even know, like support where you're, able to
cannot wait.
It does not need to be like that.
I cannot wait. You're going to be listening back to your podcast in like whatever amount of time. And you're going to be like, it was right under my nose.
Yeah, totally. Well, and that is like, I talk to agents all the time about, they say they're like a lone wolf or whatever, but your agent to agent relationships are so important.
They're crucial.
They're so important. I was actually literally just in the hallway talking to one of my girls out there, and she's like, it's crazy because for years I had nobody to call to bounce things off of. And now it's like, I can pull out my phone and say, which one of all these people do I call to bounce this specific idea out of? It's an intentional process. And a lot of agents don't spend time doing that because they think it's a waste of time. It is not a waste of time. Make sure you're doing that.
Yeah. And that's what I've been learning is like these relationships of obviously, and they're agents that are in my area. So like they're whatever your competition, but I just don't look at it like that.
No, you shouldn't. And having people in your back pocket, like, our common friend is Soci as well. Like people that also run similar businesses, not necessarily that are real estate agents, like having a lot of partners like that is super important too.
Yes, it's really important. And like you said, I'm a baby agent. I'm still very much learning. But I'm also really like honing in onto like what's working for me in my specific business and then doing more of that. Because I feel like we're in a world where there's a million ways to get from point A to point B. There's a million ways to be successful in real estate. And it's like, you have to find what works for you and be consistent with that.
Yeah.
And you talking about like, I think we were earlier talking about like mindset work, like, holy crap, being in this industry, it's all mindset.
Yes.
No.
Yes. And
So-
I loved what you said before. I forgot actually, because I've been in the business since 2001. I forgot some of those initial things that shocked me, or was it an adjustment? Like you said, you had to get out of the employee mindset. You had to like answer your phone, check your messages, put on your email. Like those things are no small things to change when you've not had that background of running a business. So we don't really talk about that very much, but that is a huge part of transitioning from working for someone else or being in a different industry and becoming a business owner through being a real estate agent. It's a huge shift.
Well, even realizing like, it's okay for me to be at the park with all these moms during business hours. That was so hard for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't be at the gym at 9 o'clock. What do you mean? Even if I'm up at 5 a.m. working, it was like, it was ingrained in me that this is wrong.
9 to 5, that's when you work.
Yeah.
And I'm at the park. That doesn't make sense. Everything's different in real estate. And you have to embrace that.
Yeah, you do. And it really is like it messes with your head sometimes. Cause even on the weekends, you're like, I should be with my family, not working. It's like, it goes both ways, but it's like, you can't help but be working on the weekends, so it's hard. It's an interesting like shift of the way you have to think and to adjust to that. It's like, I feel like, do you ever really get used to it?
Well, let me ask you this. How do you work on your mindset?
I actually went on a retreat. It was Barb's retreat. She did a retreat, and it was like the first time she really like opened me up to like all the woo-woo stuff, like manifestation, like setting, like creating a life plan and like working backwards from that, and like doing things that are like consistent affirmations every day, like having a morning routine, which is so hard with kids, but like, but like consistently being in a positive environment, surrounding yourself with positivity. And for me, it's like, when I know the big picture, when I know what I want my life to look like, I can now pinpoint what I want each day to look like, each morning to look like, my relationship with my family, my kids, my husband, and like, where do we want to be? Like, how does my business fit into that? And all the woo-woo stuff, which I had never even like been like exposed to. I went to this retreat and I was like, my world was shattered with how much your mind and what you think every day, what the story you tell yourself every day affects every part of your life. And so when that, like, it was like this, like huge, like lightning bolt. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm holding myself back. I'm the only person holding myself back. It's not because I, don't have whatever excuse you want to get, like you give yourself, you're the only reason. And once I figured that out, I was like, well, shit, in that case, like I want to make $1 million a year. It's like all of a sudden my goals started to change because I realized that my goals were just too small.
Yeah. I think that it's so surprising to people to when they realize and recognize that being in a healthy, positive, abundant mindset is not natural. It takes intention, because naturally we're all going to just get lazy and negative, and we're going to fall into whatever's fallen into our head. We were just talking about that. And so I think it's a surprise to some people that it's work, but it's so worth it to get into a great space and a great mindset and to work on that.
Also, it's another great reminder of who you surround yourself with matters, because literally you going into this retreat with somebody who thinks bigger than you have to constantly be going to those rooms, because it will literally change your life and your business. And so that aha moment you had, that's like my favorite thing to create for people.
I love that she called it woo-woo stuff.
I know, it is woo-woo. It is totally woo-woo stuff.
Well, and that it's funny because I only call it that because I remember signing up for Barb's retreat, and she mentioned like there's going to be woo-woo stuff. I didn't even know what that meant. I was like, okay. And then I get there and there was like sound baths and and I was just like, what are we doing?
Right?
Yeah.
But it was such a game changer, and it was like what I needed. It was like that shift that I needed. So now when I'm like looking for coaching or this or that, I'm like way more focused on like what I need and how I want to grow my business, the people I want to surround myself by. It was total game changer for me.
Oh, that is such a great thing for me to hear.
I know.
Love it.
And I think that the other thing that does for you is, you said, you kind of broke it down to what does my day look like? What does my morning look like? It helps you to make choices, intentional choices, instead of letting the day fall all over you every day, that will happen every single day if you let it, right? It's still
Especially
happening.
real
People
estate
say it sometimes.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
Because you're reactionary to everything. React. And you really have to be intentional about being proactive and like,
Well, and I
sit
think
down
you
and
said it where it's like, oh my gosh, my babysitter called and can't come.
Yeah.
And then the whole day is completely changed, right?
completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
for sure.
So many shit shows, situations.
shit shows. That's what kids are just like. It's like fire after fire after fire that you're picking up.
Literally right before we went live, it was like another mom was picking up my kids up from camp and she's like, hey, I'm sitting out here with your boys. I'm like, where's my husband? Oh my gosh. I'm like
Calling Dave out.
he doesn't
That's
listen.
hilarious.
Well, will you maybe give somebody that's listening right now that maybe is not in real estate some advice? Maybe they're pregnant and are thinking about getting into real estate and they're just like, should I do it or should I not do it? What advice would you give someone like that?
If it's something that you want to do it. It's one of those things where it's like analysis paralysis. Just start doing it. And it is inevitably a process that you figure out as you're going along. I think I'm prone to this. Like you want everything to be perfect and then you launch, right? And then you're a real estate agent. That's not how life works. You're going to fail and you're going to figure things out. So you just have to do it. The beauty of real estate is, when you have kids, you can choose the energy you put into it, and you can choose the energy you put into your kids. It doesn't have to be that you have no life, even though that's what's like kind of narrated in our careers. It doesn't have to be that way. And you have way more control over it than you think. And like we were talking about earlier, that mindset of being like, I'm going to be an amazing mom and be an amazing real estate agent. Like it's possible.
Yes, it is possible.
Yes.
I want to wrap it up with you telling the story about the girl in her bed.
Oh my God.
I'm so glad I didn't know this. I'm going to be surprised along with everyone else.
Literally, we're doing a final walkthrough and it's been pouring. It doesn't rain typically that much in California, but it's been like pouring for the last month. And so my clients wanted to do the final walkthrough and make sure there wasn't some like crazy leak that we didn't see when we did all the inspections. And so we get there, and right as I'm walking in, the listing agent texts me. He goes, oh, by the way, the seller's really sick. So she locked herself in the master bedroom. But my clients are like, well, what if they're trying to hide something? We have to go in the master bedroom. So I knock on the door and I'm like, hi, like, can we just like quickly walk in? I know you're sick. I'm so sorry, but can we like quickly walk through the room? And she's like, is it okay if I just stay in bed? And I'm like, yes. And I like look at my clients and we're just like looking at each other like, what the hell? And she's like, I'm just going to hide under the covers. And I was like, oh. So I opened the door. This like lady, she's probably in her 60s, is like under the covers, like, literally hiding under the covers. And we like walk through the room and I'm like, this is so uncomfortable. And the best part is my clients took their sweet time in that room.
Oh no.
Looking at things or like talking about the tile in the bathroom. I'm like, oh my God, can we please leave? This woman is just like hiding under the covers. Her dog is on the end of the bed, just like ferociously barking at us. I was like, this is the most awkward.
Oh, that is awkward.
So if you're wondering if you should get into real estate, literally what it looks like.
Okay, I'll give you one. I'll give you one that was like probably top of my. No, I have a lot of them. I'll give you one though. My husband and I went in to show a house, and the family was home, and the clients, thank God, were in another part of the house. And I walked into the master bedroom to just check it out. And all of a sudden I hear this woman say, I'm so sorry. And I turn around to where her voice is, and she's sitting on the toilet with her bathroom door completely open.
You never told me this story.
I forgot about it until right now. I was like, I'm so sorry.
She was pooping?
Yes, she was pooping.
Oh my God.
I was like, I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
I thought you were going to tell the naked shower one.
Oh, I know that one too.
You guys, see, if you want to get into real estate,
it's so fun, you guys.
Literally never a dull moment. It doesn't matter what price point you're in. This is like a almost $2 million house. So we're like,
oh, it doesn't matter. Life is life.
No,
yeah.
and like those
people are people.
I literally was like, this woman wants to hide under the covers. I'm like, what is happening?
What world do we live in? They're crazy. People are crazy.
Yes, they are. Okay, let's play our game.
Okay, let's play our game. So we're going to say a word and you're going to just say the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
Success is?
Like next level wealth.
Okay, I'll take that.
California is?
like the beach.
The beach.
I would have said next to Arizona.
I wonder what I would have said to Arizona. Would I have said cactus? I don't know.
I don't know because we didn't play it with you.
I don't know. So let's do one more. Okay. Social media is.
Ooh, powerful.
It is. Absolutely. All right. You've been so much fun
Absolutely.
to have
So delightful.
on our show. And if you guys are listening and you guys have not been to a Flourish before, you need to come to a Flourish event. That is an event that Angela and I have been doing for years now.
Mhm.
And it is theflourishevent.com. We do it 2 times a year. So you guys can look and see what the most recent one is. And if you guys are interested in coming, or if you're interested in speaking, reach out to us because we would love to hear from you.
And it is the best women's event ever. I promise you. No one's ever said, well, you said it was going to be the best and it wasn't.
No,
They always agree it's
people
the best.
cry. They love
Yes,
it. So
it's
much
so
fun.
good.
And we do woo-woo stuff.
I live for the woo-woo stuff.
Thank you so much again. You were really a great person to have on our podcast.
Oh, I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you so much. This is awesome.
You're
All right.
welcome. Bye.
Angela Fazio is an industry powerhouse who has overseen 40,000 homes sold and $9 billion in production. And Kristen Cantrell is one of the nation's most accomplished team leaders, helping thousands of agents build their businesses. They are passionate about educating, encouraging, and empowering moms in real estate. Our next episode starts now.